Yo, y'all already know what it is. And listen, if you want to be able to support PVM and make some money on the side too, on a bi-weekly basis, and stay tuned until the end of this episode so that you get information regarding which. Oh yeah, we stepping it up. Third season, baby. PVM, positive vibes, maybe. What's going on? This is your man, Jetty A-Track, my brother, Dash, a.k.a., well, I should say, for real, aka initially known as Dante Smith. Is going to be joining us shortly. You know how we get down tonight. It's really a part two of the conversation that we had last time about just letting things go, you know? But instead of us focusing so much on the past, we're going to be looking at letting things go in the present. How does letting possessive notions go about who we identify as, the things that we've held on to for so long that need to be let go in order for growth and progress to commence and to be exacted. You know what I'm saying? Tonight, we're going to be joined by the talented, brilliant Unir Gaines. Brooklyn, stand up. Jersey, stand up. It's going to be a fruitful conversation, y'all. So thank you for joining us. Trust me, y'all gonna be fulfilled with this one. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to send the invitation out to him. In the meantime, Frankie got a plan. What's going on with you, King? Mr. Deacon Reed, peace. Von Brown. What you say? He said change your number on me. I did. I changed my number. I had to switch my number. You know what I mean? I could send my new number to you. But I had to switch my number up. I had an issue with T-Mobile. It's finalized now, but I had an issue with T-Mobile that had to get situated, and it ended with me canceling my subscription over at T-Mobile. And also because because I'm in a new space, you know what I mean, new relationship, being a first-time dad, you know what I mean, I needed to tighten up the budget. I was paying like $200 damn near for my phone bill. I was like, nah, you need to tighten up the strings on this shit so we can reinvest and repurpose some of this money to go other places. Unit Games, what's going on with you, King? Von Brown said, just wanted to say congrats. I appreciate you. Thank you very much, brother. I appreciate you. I truly do. You know what I'm saying? $200, yes, $200. I was paying for two lines. I was paying for my line, and I was paying for my mom's line. Actually, I can tell y'all this right now while Dante gets up in here. So I was paying for two lines. I canceled my mom's line when she transitioned last year. And somebody somewhere didn't get the memo, and I was still paying for my mom's line for damn near a year afterwards. So when I realized that I was still paying for the line, hey, my lady was like, nah. She walked me through all the steps. I was able to get in contact with the CEO of T-Mobile. He sent one of his, I guess, dignitaries, if you will, and his understudies or whatever, to talk with me on the phone and on email. He responded on the email, but he sent some other people that I could respond to on the email as well. We talked. And apparently, the protocol at T-Mobile is within the 3-month span, they cannot refund anything within the that's past 3 months because you're supposed to know and all this other shit. It was some wild shit. Anyway, the best they could do was just cover the rest of the plan as far as to pay off my phone, to pay off my iPhone, and you know what I mean, just let me cancel my line without any concurrent charges and shit like that. You know what I'm saying? Without any fees and shit like that. But yeah, they want some fuck shit. But at the very least, you know, they did something. So it is what it is. Women will get shit straight. Absolutely. Real talk. Oh, that's why I wanted to ask, are you vegan? I became vegan. He said no onions. I'm not vegan, but I am making the transition to removing more meats from my diet. Right now, I don't eat beef. I don't eat pork. And within the next year or so, I'm going to cut chicken out of my diet and all other meats. Oh, yeah, and I don't eat seafood either. Within the next year or so, I'm going to cut out chicken. And the only other quote-unquote meat that I will be eating will be fish. So, in other words, I'll be pescatarian. You know what I'm saying? Just like fruits, veggies, and fish. You know what I mean? It's fly. I ain't gonna hold you. It's fly. You feel the difference in your energy when you make adjustments to your diet and shit like that. I love it. You know what I mean? Unit gains, at least it ended peacefully. At least, shit, I was snapping. I was snapping. Started, y'all. Same me. What's going on with
Yo, what's happening?
King?
Peace, King.
Hold on, y'all. Let me put in my thing so that I
Hey,
can get
what's
y'all.
up?
Dash, what's going on?
What's up with y'all? How y'all feeling? Ooh,
Kings, what's happening? What's happening,
hold on real
Kings?
quick while I get my headphones.
Chilling.
Everybody trying to get their headphones.
We had an issue with some echoes, so in order for us to make sure that it doesn't happen again, we like to pop in these little doohickeys and whatnot, you know?
Got you, got you. Big shout out to, I see you, Mr. Mark Shot, a top shot. I see you in here. My guy, I appreciate you for stopping by for this, you know what I mean?
All right, so I'm just going to put up the topic right now and pin it because basically this is a conversation that we had last Sunday about letting go. And I didn't even know when I sent you the topic until I saw the episode and I was like, yo, this is a part two of what we talked about. But instead, last week's episode, we were talking about letting go as far as letting go the past. So
Got
being
you.
who you are, King, being the transitions that you've made to be where you are and something that we can resonate with as well, as far as things that we had to let go and whatnot. I want to focus more on letting go of the things that have had claim on your identity. Basically, letting go of the present for your future instead of letting go of the past for your present. You know what I'm saying?
How long is this live? Because if y'all gonna do that, we're gonna be here for a good little minute. I'm telling you that right now. I'll tell you that right now.
We in here for an hour, King, but we
All
gonna
right.
flow. We gonna flow.
I appreciate it.
Yes, sir. But
Um, yeah, go ahead, go ahead.
no, but I just wanted to get formalities out the way. But first of all, before we even get the conversation out of the way, how are you, man? How is life?
Life is life is good. Life is blessed. I mean, anybody know me know that's my phrase for everything is everything blessed. You know what I'm saying? Took some time to myself after I had contracted the cold that everybody was talking about. And it was a life changing experience for me. Like I ended up like, you know what I'm saying, like writing like goodbye letters and whatnot, like on some other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm somebody who don't get sick. So for me, it was like the weird, you know what I'm saying? Like I didn't even know what to do, you know what I mean? And then I just took some time and was just like, yo, like, you know, since we talk about, you know, the past and the future and all that, I had a moment where I was like, yo, if I stop right now, would I be upset with myself? And I realized I wouldn't. You know what I'm saying? Like I realized like I'd be comfortable with it because I've been through a lot. You know what I'm saying? But you know, with that being said, then it was like, well, what are we doing about the future? And then some things happen, and in the words of my wonderful uh, more cousin, I'm back outside. So you know, I'm here
My
still.
man. Man, it's always great to see that, to hear that. You know what? Every time we talk, there's always something, man. There's always something with life that either I've gone through or you've gone through. It's always something with life, man. But I'm blessed to hear that you have persevered yet again. I'm blessed to hear that God still has a plan and a purpose for you on this side of things. You know what I mean? So I'm
Big
glad that you're
facts.
well. You know what I mean? It's love.
Thank you so much. Big shout out to my pops. I just see him pop in here. So big shout out. I don't know why my pops is in here, but big shout out to my pops.
Pops the daddy elephant, man.
Yeah.
Papa elephant.
Papa Elephant. Oh, he going. Yo, and once we get off this live, I promise you, he gonna be on the phone like you heard him say it, right? You heard what he said, right? You heard him call me that, right? Mm-hmm. Papa Elephant. Oh my God, you just ruined. Oh man.
Word. You know what I mean? So yeah, so Dash, I kind of want to shift the things to you a bit as far as, you know, opening up the scale of the conversation further because last week's conversation you initially brought to the table for us to have and it was a fruitful one, just letting go of the past and whatnot. But in terms of letting go of what's something that you have claimed or has claimed you as far as an identifier. You know, how does that resonate with you as far as something that for so long was an aspect or a characteristic of you that you hung your hat on, that you realized that walking into the future you could no longer hold your hat on?
Um, I guess that would be so dependable, I guess, in a sense, as far as like, being that guy for everybody, like that go-to person, like people lean on or they call or they ask for assistance from, like before I used to wear that like as a little badge of honor, to an extent, like to be like, all right, I can facilitate this for my loved ones, or I could be that person that they need, whenever they're going through something. But like as you keep on living, like people's stuff become, a bit taxing on you, like even when you're going through your own stuff and you want to be there for somebody, it's like hard to be there for somebody all the time, without feeling drained, without feeling taxed, without even feeling like a bit annoyed at times, and it's not even like because they doing something, it's just, like you just annoyed with the, the the responsibility of always, being needed, where you just like, damn, just situate yourself, like,
Mm.
and I'll be there, like when I'm in space, as opposed to like feeling like you need to be there for somebody. So yeah, I guess it's that shedding that title, that's been like the best thing for me. Like that's something I kind of went into this year as a focus for me, like because I seen a lot towards the end of last year, like it was coming like detrimental to like my growth as a person. I could see like how it was hindering me and my personal growth and my personal walks, where I was just like, all right, you know what? I need to make this a focus for me going into the next year, where I'm just a bit more selfish with me, with my
Mm.
time, my energy, my resources, my everything, and just just kind of pour into me, and in a selfish way and in an unselfish way, because like the pouring into me is good for me because it makes me less resentful. It makes me less, be like, why do I gotta help, or why do I want to help, as opposed to, yeah, let me help my, love myself. Yeah, that's what I say for me. How about
I
yourself?
dig on that. I dig on that. Actually, thank you for that testimonial, because as you were speaking, I was reminded of unfortunate. I won't even say unfortunate. It's not unfortunate. Everything is either a blessing or a lesson. So it was just a lesson I had to learn a year and a half ago now, when my mother first transitioned. It was like a month later, and he's technically my cousin, but you know I regarded him as my older brother. He was somebody that I looked up to for many years since I was a toddler. You know what I mean? And he was just doing a lot. He was doing a lot. He divulged to me that he had bipolar disorder. But it was just something always about him that, even me and my other cousin, we would look up to him, but he was just unreliable. You know what I mean? He was a charming, intelligent man. It never had a problem getting women. Never had a problem being able to situate himself with a job of sorts. But he always had a problem with consistency and foundation.
Mm,
And because of that, he helped to bring about a funeral for my mom that was more or less like a circus. So after everything went down, I had to have a talk with him, and I had to let him know, like, look, this is unacceptable. And I remember he said something to me that hurt me to my core. He said a couple of things, but it wasn't like intended to hurt. It was just coming from the space of, oh, but we're family, so this is what the responsibility or the duty is that comes with being family. He said, if I mess up, or if I do this and the third, I'm gonna come back to you, and that kind of seared me, because I'm like, I don't think, like, yes, family is there for that, but I don't think family is there to be there for you in that explicit way. Like, we're meant to build. We're not meant to go ahead and just do whatever. We fuck up and then we come back to the safety net. Nah, we're here to build. We're here to do something more. So I told my cousin at the time, like, yo, I'm not your father. And in me saying that, I'm like, yo, nah, that's not my responsibility to hold. Like, you can't just go fucking up doing this, that, and the third, and expect to come back to me and everything is all fine and honky dory. Like, nah, that ain't going down.
you did him a
So
favor.
Yeah, you know what I mean? So I had to let him know, at that time that, it was over as far as how we knew each other until he was able to come back into my life. Well, I needed to see that he was taking care of himself and he was more diligent in his self-care and in not only the medicine, in whatever therapy and whatever things that he needed to do for himself so that he doesn't run into the same shit over and over that was hurting his loved ones, that was hurting his
Mm-hmm.
family. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
when you said dependability, that hit. You know what I mean? I always found myself to be someone that I would identify as dependable for my loved ones. But as things change, as seasons change, you find that just because you are no longer dependable to people who you were dependable to does not make you a non-dependable person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I completely understand that. You talking to my soul with that, especially that line, like, cause that's a lesson like you kind of learn, like as you as you kind of like your patience get worn thin a little bit to the extent like with people like it's not something that's like naturally taught like and even like as it's like taught like it's more so taught to the extent like how your cousin was like more so in a sense of entitlement that people develop, where they just like, what you've always been this way, so I expect you to remain this way, and it's kind of that label that people put on you, like as you like start to evolve and change, they'd be like, oh, you changed, and it's like,
Oh,
yeah,
dude. Don't worry about it. This light is flickering on and off. I gotta change it soon. But look, ain't nothing but a little special effects. Keep on going, King. Keep on going. I'm here. Just know I'm here.
But yeah, it's like that, that label like people try to shed on you, like when they be like, yo, you changed, and it's just like, yeah, of course I changed, like I'm growing, I'm evolving, like that's this is what's supposed to come with it, as I change, I evolve, and I learned and I adapt to, move in life accordingly. But yeah, that definitely stood out to me. That definitely stood out to me. Like that actually was like the central feeling behind my wanting to change myself, and kind of seeing that flaw within myself.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So, Mr. Gaines,
Yes, sir.
let's get into it. I see a
Uh,
comment from that African butterfly that we're gonna get into shortly, but let's get into it so that we can finish or at least complete the cipher with this round robin that we're having. Last time that we had you on here, we talked a bit about the transformation that you had from KM to you near Gaines, and we want to keep that as far as whatever that conversation was for people that want to get down and familiar with that. We have episodes up on our YouTube, and I do believe that we have that episode from one of our prior seasons as well. But
oh
today,
boy.
especially with what you divulged, I want to get to something that's a bit more prevalent, if I'm allowed to say that, as far as what you just survived and you walked out of. Where was your mind that you felt you needed to write letters while you were experiencing what you were experiencing for what the unknown had for you? Because obviously that was a notion of understanding that you had to let go of everything that you built and everything that defined you in this realm. Where was your mind at for you to find a peace for you to write letters for, just in case?
It was desperation, to be honest with you. I've gone through this year of 22. I think not even let me not even start like that. I think everybody since 2020 has gone through something, right?
Mm,
We've all gone through different levels of things things happening in surprise, right? Especially with the world shutting down and this discomfort in finances and even with our loved ones and people that we hold dear to us. Some of them have left, some of them are still around, some of them are constantly going in and out the hospital, like what I'm saying, like my aunt, what I'm saying, like right now she is working through, as I like to say, she's working through several different types of cancer, right? And it got to a point where we were going back and forth to the hospital so much, like I made a line about it in the song, like, yo, they about to rent us the basement. You know what I
mm,
mean? Because like we just there all the time, like what I'm saying. So I think we're all going through stuff. What happened with me though is, when that transpired and I was laying sick, I was I was really like, oh, this may be how it happens, because I
Mm,
had gone through so much that I was like, you know, this may be it. And for me, anybody that really knows me knows like I'm a private person, but it's not even like on some like most people when they say they private, it's like I go out my way to make sure nobody knows anything like that. You know what I'm saying? But it's for me, like that's just how I was raised. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my nan, shout
Okay.
out to my mom, shout out to my aunt. You feel me? Like I was just raised to move a certain way where in life, no matter who's around you, um you're by yourself. Not
mhm,
by yourself in the sense of you're alone, but like, yo, this is you.
mhm,
And unfortunately, or not unfortunately, but I had issues growing up where I I I empathize too much upon with people to help them through not having to go through that because they're not built for it. And it tore me because it was like, yo, you normally like this, but you trying to be this for other people and things of that nature. So I say all that to say, when I was, laying down, it was just like everything just stopped for once. Like I couldn't move, not because it was like I was tired. It was like I couldn't move because I was sick. I couldn't move. I couldn't see because not because I was tired. Like I couldn't see. So it was like, man, like what have I done in my life? Like that means anything to me. And it was a really awesome experience in a sense because it brought me back to that center that I've kind of strayed away from for years, which is the whole reason for the whole Unique Games anyway. You know what I mean? Shout out to my pops if he's still in here. Like my pops gave me the name Unique. You know what I'm saying? Like it literally just means like you're close. So, and I've always been close to whatever goal it is that I've had in front of me. But yeah, it just gave me a moment of through the devastation, it gave me a moment of peace. And it just pulled the e-brake like, yo, you're going through this, you're going through that. You lost your grandmother, and after you lost your grandmother, you went through depression, my boy. Like I know you don't realize it, but you went through depression, my boy. And then you lost your uncle, and while losing your uncle, you went through depression, my boy.
mhm.
Like and then with your aunt, you started to rev up again. You know what I'm saying? And the thing about me is like it it's taken me decades to recognize that, like, oh shoot, I've actually gone through it once or twice in my life. Maybe now, but like I've gone through it. So it's like, with me, I'm always about self-care. So those letters was just about like, I think in a way it was me subconsciously telling myself like, yo, when this is over, you're gonna have to fix this, like, and get back to yourself, like taking care of yourself, being in tune with yourself and the things that have allowed for you to be on this earth longer than most, you know what I'm saying? And take advantage of it once this is all done. Because if you don't, then this is where it ends, type thing. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, I don't know if that answers it, but that's what that's what got me there was I think the undertone of it all was just simply me finally being like, yo, either we're gonna fix this or it's just never gonna work out the way you want it to work out. Life that
Yeah.
is. So, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I think that does
Yeah.
answer it. Yeah,
Yeah. Hit the nail on the coffin.
yeah.
Um,
No pun, no pun,
Good
no
pun.
pun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
nah,
Yeah.
for
I know.
sure,
Word.
I
man.
know it's kind of sensitive. Like my bad.
Nah, I
Yeah.
feel you. I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because I don't think some see folk like us, and I do mean us because all three of us do have this in common as far as how we resonate with it, especially myself. I don't think we give ourselves enough grace to fully understand where we are in the moments that we're experiencing what we're experiencing. You know, I had a conversation with my brother Juice a while ago, not too long ago actually, and this was before my mom transition. And we was just riding around. I think he was dropping me off at the spot, and for some reason the topic of therapy came about, and he was just like, "Yo, I know I need therapy," because he was taking care of his pop basically the same way, more or less the same way I was taking care of my mom. And I was just like, "Yo, I never really thought of it like that, but I think I need therapy too." He looked at me and said, "No, no, you gonna need therapy. Like you was taking care of your mom, and she's been sick for all this time."
Mm.
And knowing that, I'm still in the state of mourning. I'm still in the state of grief, and depression is something that I know. I just came to a place last year where I knew that I'm an active depressed person, if you will. Like I could be depressed, but I'm
Mm.
still moving. I'm still doing things.
Mm.
Like, but there would be moments in which the depression it piles up and it mounts up. And if you're not with me in that moment, you'll never know. Because once again, like you said, we come from a different cloth. We come from a cloth where it's like it's not about me wanting to bring attention to myself about these things. I really do come from a place where it's like, yo, you bear with what you bear.
Mm.
It's yours to hold.
Mm.
My mom had a saying where it's an African saying, but it translates to this is your cross to bear. This is your road. This is
Mm-hmm.
what you have to hold. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So with that, it's like, well, I could walk from the river with a big basin on my head, and I can complain to everybody that I come across about this weight that's on my head as I haphazardly walk and it's all wasted, spilling all around. Or I could put all my energy to making sure I don't drop a single drop and then just keep it pushing. Because even if I do complain, it's like, let's say somebody does help, then what becomes of that? You know what I mean? If whatever becomes of that is something that I have to wear. Now, if this person is a pure Samaritan, then that's a blessing. But if that person comes and throws it in my face that they helps, I can't do nothing about that. I deserve that because I opened up the space in which this person came and had a certain say to what I was experiencing, a certain say to my burden, because I asked for it. I asked for not only that person's help, but the totality of that person to enter my life in that
Mm.
instance.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly what you. Yeah. Same cloth, same cloth, same cloth. That
Yeah.
same cloth, same cloth. And I mean, it's funny that even in that, like one of the things with me, whenever someone asks me for advice, I'm always telling them from the perspective of them. I never tell them from my perspective at all because I believe that too, right? Like I never want to put myself upon somebody in the midst of like them going through something. um you have to be very careful because spirituality is a real thing. You know what I'm saying? And but that also goes into, like I said before with me, how I've grown to empathize with people way more than I should. And I allow I've allowed people's uh arenas to bulldoze my own.
Mm.
You know
Mm.
you know what I'm saying? Like, um and it's kind of like going to what you're saying, Dash. Like, I'm the guy. Like, there's no question about it. I wear that title. Like, I'm the guy. Yo, something's going on right now. Yo, hit up your nigga. Like, yo, life is moving a certain. Hit up your nigga. Yo, my wife just hit up your nigga. You know what I'm saying? And it's
Protection.
and it is, especially, you know, as a musician, as an artist, and now like being even more vulnerable so I can make these records. It's like I opened a chamber that, like, for some reason was a chamber I probably should have never opened, because now I'm just like receptive to everything. Like, oh, word, like that's crazy, man. I feel the same way, and it's like, no, I don't, but now I do, because
Mm.
I'm like, but now I
Mm.
do because it's like I'm I'm trying to understand you in a certain way, and it's very taxing, very, very taxing. But
Yeah.
I like what you were saying, Jay. Like it's, you know, at the end of the day, it's just us, and I mean that for anybody who's watching this. Like it is you. You have to do the work. You have to be receptive. You have to use discernment. It's only you, because at the end of the day, nobody else is in control of your walk except for the Most High, and that's whatever you want to believe in. You know what I'm saying? So it's it's very interesting. I'm sorry if I'm talking way too much. Huh?
Oh no, please,
No,
please, yeah, yeah, for real.
I wanted to be on here for so long. You know how many topics y'all had where I'm like, I want to get on the live right now. I don't want to. I don't want to type it out. I want to say something.
Right on, right on, right on. Yeah, but I do want to speak a bit to that, and Dash, please chime in where you see fit, because I feel that you can resonate with this as well, empathize even. That something that you just said, you near being so empathic to the degree in which somebody is sharing their pain with you, and you're like, y'all feel the same way, or y'all feel that, because you're present with that person, you're so present with that person, you do feel the same way. You've opened yourself to not only the energy, but you're damn near literally putting yourself in that person's shoes and feeling where they come from. And it's not for any other purpose but to genuinely help, if not for any other reason than just so that they know that they aren't alone. You know, that's real. But once again, like you said, Dash, that's taxing as well. And one of the reasons why it's so essential, you know, during my mother's funeral and the circus that it was, there was a few things that I will never forget that was just beautiful about it. And one of those instances was, I was actually just thinking about this before we even got on the live. One of the things that I was snapping on my cousin about is because they gave me this little tote bag at the end of the service and all that, and it was full of programs that they didn't use with my mom's face, some dog tags with my mom's face on it, keychains on my, and I took that shit and I dumped it in front of him. I said, "You think I need this fucking shit?" And he was just looking at me like, "I didn't do it. I didn't do it." I was ripping up the programs in front of him. You think I fucking yeah, I was barking on him. But there was a plaque that was given to me, and I still have this plaque to this day, and it's a poem. And every time I read this poem, I'm emotional about it, because it is about, letting me go. The poem is about, I've been here for what I was here for, but you have to let me go because life continues. You know, I feel like we stifle ourselves, we stifle our own growths, because who we identify as belongs to yesterday. And one of my favorite MF one of my favorite MF Doom records is Shadows of Yesterday. And one of the lyrics on that song is, "Yesterday belongs to the dead." So it's actually gave me a bit of chills right now, just now as I said that. But it kind of it's almost like we have to be able to embrace death in a sense now, for us to be reborn for who we are to be, for our future's blessings. I don't know if that makes any sense.
I do believe that to an extent. Like you do get comfortable with the idea of death or the notion of death and what it all may entail. Especially, I think that's why like older folks they feel comfortable by the time they die because like they didn't give it the real thought it requires. Like they done put it in its proper place. Like all right, I done lived this amount of life. I done experienced this. Like this isn't necessarily the end because I do hear this a lot, especially like from the older people at my job and like there's older people that I encounter just in general when the subject of death come up about it not necessarily being like this bad thing or evil thing, but more like kind of like the start of life. Like and a lot of conversations is always been kind of viewed as like this is our infancy stage right here of life that we're living. And when we die, we're actually graduating to the next form of evolution. We just don't know it's the next form because this is the only stage that we're accustomed to. So we think this is the end all be all, but it's partly like why you'll be able to be like, yo, I feel like my loved ones from the next spirit because like as they evolve to the next form, or the wherever you believe in, like their presence still left on you, but you still it's still like like we're in an infancy stage. I don't know how to really explain it, but I'm gonna send y'all this link that I was watching the other day that kind of like gave it more light. But it kind of really just touched on that aspect as far as like just being comfortable and embracing death and like understanding that when we're gone, we're not necessarily gone. We're still leaving pieces of ourselves, but we're also kind of showing our the next generation how to be comfortable and how to embrace it. How to kind of live in the moment, how to kind of be appreciative of every second that you have. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that's real. That's real. If y'all mods want to jump into a couple of comments, there's some people that's
Yeah.
helping to jump off the comment section. I want to give them their flowers right now. So 803 Music said, I feel that like the next step into the future is unknown, and that's what can make it scary. I feel the old folks on that list. Yeah, the old folks, they have a very peaceful, not all of them,
Yeah,
not
not
all of
all of
them,
them, but
but
Definitely not all
those
of them.
that do, right, those that do, they have a very peaceful take onto what that unknown means and what it entails. And it's admirable. It's
I feel
inspirational
like
even.
those ones that are comfortable with it kind of did life a little bit right. Like they're comfortable where they took their life or the decisions they made in life. And it lets them be a little more comfortable with like, all right, this is the end, this is the end, as opposed to those that like lived the indecision throughout their life or their insecurities or they necessarily follow their life's purpose. Like that fear becomes mountain as you see the end. Because it's always that thought of like, damn, I should have did this or I could have did that. And that's what's really biting them and making them uncomfortable that the end is near because it's just like it's almost that regret of like what they should have or could have done.
Mm. Yeah, that's real.
I mean, in full transparency, like I've been having that challenge as of late, like maybe for like a year or so when it comes to like the idea of just death in general. Because I'm somebody who, when someone passes, I I comprehend it. Like it's a transition. You know what I mean? Like they are now able to go have life somewhere else that I'm
Hmm.
incapable of going to. But for myself, I've been thinking about it as of late. Like, yo, like, so what? Like, what's really going on? I feel like time right now for me is, um, time for me has always been very slow, and that's how I've been able to maneuver through so much, whether it be the things we did as a youth, with adolescence, fights, breakups, street, whatever. It's
Hmm.
always been able to move slow, and for the first time ever, like life is moving really fast for me,
Mm.
and I'm just kind of like, all right, so like how much time do I have? Because it feels like everything is kicking into high gear. Like
Yeah.
I promise you, I promise you yesterday. I promise you yesterday was February 27th, 2020.
Mm.
I mean that date specifically. And I woke up
Hmm.
this morning and it's now December 2020, 22.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's something that I'm definitely interested in figuring out like more about that. That's why I said when you were saying the whole therapy thing, I feel you on that. I definitely am highly interested in it when it's time for it for me.
Yeah.
But big shout out to 803 for that question. That's the queen out of Atlanta. I appreciate her for being
Hey, peace,
Okay.
Queen. We appreciate you. We really do. There's also a comment that takes us back to our earlier point of our conversation about that African butterfly. That she said that's so funny that you say that because that's exactly the reason I love my family. I can be fearless, quote unquote, because I know they're my safety net, but only immediate family. Parentheses, mom and siblings. Yeah,
here.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
That's
Family,
real.
family
I
is a
mean,
strong,
yeah,
it's not even going to say word, but family is a strong sentiment. It's a strong reality. So,
yeah. And
yeah.
not everybody's your family just because they share your blood too.
Hmm.
You know, like a lot of your family members don't mean you're the best. You know, like you just sometimes you just they just view you as like, yo, this person does X, Y, Z for me. You know, and that's your only role for them. Like, and if you can't serve that purpose, then you really don't hold nothing for them, family and all. Like,
Yeah. Yeah. I can't, I would be remiss if in us talking about letting go, we didn't give, energy and recognition to the 180 of that, which is not holding on, but grace and forgiveness. You know, for those that know, I went through a 13-year period where I guess you could say I was finding myself, but I was just hurt and I didn't forgive myself for many things. And in doing so, I could not receive love the same way. And in me not being able to receive love, I estranged my own mother while she was here. It's 13 years we're talking about. It's not just it's a high skip and a jump, you know what I'm saying?
Mm.
And my mom, she could have easily disowned me. She could have easily kicked me out. There were many instances in which we butted heads, and she didn't deserve it, but because she was my mother and she loved me, she weathered the storm with me. Even up until the time that I was able to confess to her, and she was able to see me for the first time in years, and she was given the choice. Not given the choice, but I was able to recognize that I needed to respect her free will as far as no longer lying to her about who she thought I was and giving her the option of where she wanted our relationship to go now that she knows the truth. And
yeah,
in doing so, you know, you get to recognize and appreciate how pure love can be. So don't I don't want people to hear this conversation and think that letting go with every instance is the way to go. We have to use discernment because there are things that require our presence through it all, through whatever storm, because what is waiting at the other side of that storm is something that when your eyes are open to it, I don't think you'll be able to really recognize a beauty that would be deeper than that to your own spirit.
It, hmm. I think it's a little different for me because um me and my me and my family were talking about this earlier. I'm somebody who I'm somebody who will stick it out with you until you tell me you can't be here.
Mm.
yeah.
And
I like that.
now when you tell me that though, right? For most people they'll say, "Oh, a relief. I can finally be gone." Da da da. But for me, it's not even like that. It's more like, "Are you sure? Because I can do this all day. Like I have no issues with you. You know what I'm saying? Like, but if you're telling me our friendship, our bond, or even our relationship, whatever, then I respect it. And then at that point, like I could love you from a distance all day, but I'll never love you up close.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? And so for me, letting go has always just been like, I guess it's never been so poignant for me because I've never been the one to let go. It's always been everybody else letting go of me.
Mm.
But I've always been open to it. Like I've always been like, oh, this has to be gone and this has to be gone. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Um, but but there's something you talked about which I think is really big, especially I think it has a lot to do with our generation. When you spoke on your mother and how you said you gave her grace and being able to decide her feelings upon who you actually are as opposed to who you are are making yourself to be in her
Mm-hmm.
presence. I think a lot of men in our generation, whether they are a single parent or if they're a mother son, whatever the case may be, I think a lot of us have that issue, especially being in this world, right? I think in part of me if I offended anybody, but I think in a Bible it says something like I'm from this world but not of it. And I
Mm.
think that a lot of times growing up, we're all walking this thin line. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you live in a neighborhood that is necessarily uh, thriving in entrepreneurial activity, you're gonna see that, and you're gonna wonder. You're gonna be curious about it.
Mm-hmm.
If you're melanated and you live in a world where everything is not, or at least not respected, you know what I'm saying? Like it draws you a certain way, and makes you a certain way. And I feel like a lot of brothers, a lot of sisters too, like we all have to put on this armor that helps us walk through the world, but we forget that we keep it on even when we walk through our household.
Mm.
Mm.
And that is something that I I ultimately try to have everyone let go of, that when they're around me, because I recognize that for some reason when people are around me, they always say to me, "Yo, I'm never like this with anybody else." My boys, to the ladies I date, to the women that I don't date, the women that are just in my crew like that, everyone always says the same thing, and I'm always like, "But that's the best part of you, right?" It's never the, and I'm not saying anything. I'm not saying that any of us are liars for our armor. But what I'm saying is, it's always the liars that are the trickiest and the unpredictable, even though they're predictable because they lie. But it's the
Mm.
one that's just willing to just tell you the truth that is the hardest to deal with, because it's like, well, I can't move them this way. I can't
Mm-hmm.
move them that way. I can't pull them this. You know what I'm saying? So when you are fully just committed to being like, yo, this is exactly who I am. I do this. I do that. I don't like this. I don't like that. I love this. I love that. It just allows for you to. I think it allows for you to have your own type of time, your own type of world on this earth that nobody else can dictate or move or manipulate other than yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's well said.
Good. That's well
And it
said.
makes
And
them uncomfortable.
Very,
Yeah. Yeah.
very.
Yeah, as you was talking, like I was just reminiscing about like a situation I had not too long ago where that actually that came into the picture where like I was like being so, this is who I am, like I ain't even gonna bullshit you, like this is who I am, this is what I'm looking for, this is what I'm tolerating, laying it out all on the line, and like hearing the frustration in the other person's voice, like, and not even trying to be frustrated, but being frustrated, like, but and you can hear it, like, nah, that's not where I want you to be, but like verbally not saying that, but I can just feel it within the actions. I'm just like,
Mm.
yeah, like,
oh, yeah.
Yo, it's always funny the people that love you because they feel like you're receptive to any and everything they give you.
Mm.
that's why they love you. That's
Right.
why,
And then
it's just
this,
rare when you find that out. Like, oh, like this is the reason I mean something to you. Like, it's not what I do. It's just how I make you feel. What I bring to your life. It's nothing that you're really trying to reciprocate back to me.
right.
It's all about what I can do for you. And I was like, no wonder I feel so taxed when I'm around you. Like,
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
part.
That part. Mhm.
like to go back to your point, Jetty, you made a point earlier where you were just like, sometimes it's about letting go, and I feel that, and I'm like, sometimes like you don't even have to know when it's time to let go. Like sometimes your body, the spirit, whatever, will just put you in positions where the people will let go of themselves for you. Like that's why
Mm.
I kind of felt like you near like kind of how you felt like I don't really let go of people. They let me go, but in the same sense, I'll let them go because like something that Mia told me is like, yo, create distance, you know, like, or pull back, you know, and they might not say that per se, but like it'll give me the energy, and I'll just naturally start doing it, and then like it'll make sense later on, like, oh, okay, that's why I started pulling back, or that's why this situation went like that, you know, like, and it kind of made me comfortable with, you know what, yeah, we were supposed to go, our past were supposed to, you know, separate, you know, like our time together has run its course, you know, and I do need to walk away, you need to walk away, you know, for whatever reason, this is how things ended, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, to speak on that, you know, and this is something I'm trying to practice now, like literally, like as of today, because it's wild that we had this conversation before I got on this live to have the same exact conversation, because now it's starting to move in the same direction. But, you know, love is a choice, right? So love is not necessarily butterflies and like whatever the
No.
case may be. It's legitimately the choice to say, this is who I am with. I think that as human beings, we have to recognize that we are we're like computers. When you hit the wrong key, your computer boom, ding, whatever. Something sounds off, you know you can't do the move you're trying to do. All of us have that same sound.
Mm-hmm.
The only problem
Mm-hmm.
is that all of us wave it off. Like we just go like, all right, cool. Like I look at some of the relationships, some of the businesses I've been in where I'm like, yo, I saw that, you know, that turn coming up 50 miles away. Like, why
Mm-hmm.
did I wait till I got exactly 2 miles up on the exit to recognize that, like, yo, I should have, you know what I mean? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and so, you know, I'm definitely working on that even, you know, more so now, where I'm just like, yo, like, if it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. And, you know, there's no right or wrong to it, but I think that, you know, we all have that opportunity early ahead to let go of something. We just never do it because out of curiosity, right? That's what makes us that's what makes us smart. That's what makes us geniuses. That's what makes us artists. You know what I'm saying? Like we have to be curious because that's the only way we can get to the point where we can recognize like the genius or the greatness of something. But that also puts us on the side of if it's the worst of things and it's the you know the trash of things. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah, yeah.
it's a balance, but it's tough. But I think that you know we should all definitely recognize when that bling goes off, like oh, okay, cool, like this is not it, and be comfortable with that bling. Like yo, this is not it. You know what I mean? Like be comfortable with it, because if something's for you, no matter if you throw it away, it's gonna show back up.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what I mean? So letting go is not necessarily a bad thing. It's just you have to be comfortable with it and just recognize that if it's for you, it'll be there. And sometimes when it's for you and you let it go, the better version of it shows up because you let it
Mm-hmm.
go.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like
I, I
I'm
like to
just
say
saying.
let go is more so about having faith in who you are and faith that everything gonna turn out the way you've been praying for. You know, like it's really just trusting your faith, like whatever you believe in, like and putting your whole all into that. Like because like if you really believe in like that you deserve good or you know good is going to naturally come your way, you know, like this life is all about like what you manifest and what you work for. So like as long as you projecting, you know, good vibrations, more times than not they'll find their way to you, you know, like of course you go through your ebbs and flows though, you know, like we all have negatives, but like the more you project good, the more good does in turn come back and reflect itself on you, you know.
Mm.
Absolutely. Just positive vibes maybe even, you know, like it's just, you know, not to do a shameless plug, but that's exactly what it is. You know what I mean? Just saying. I'm just saying. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying, man.
And with, and with that being said, we are a little bit across the 1 hour mark in our program tonight. So
Mm.
before we even close out, we got to give you your flowers. Thank you for being transparent. Thank you for being so honest. Thank you for being so present here. This conversation with us. We love you. We send you your flowers. Thank you for still being here. You know.
Oh man, it's a blessing. I'll be real with you, man. Like I said, there've been so many times where I watch y'all with guests, and I just been like, I hope one day I get to get. I just want my one spot. I don't care if I don't get to do it any other time. Just one spot, and Y'all picked a great day, and I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you gentlemen, for allowing yourselves to be vulnerable, open, and transparent every time y'all do these. Like, I watch them. I know, like, sometimes I might be in and out of the lives when I'm working or something, but I watch because these are building moments that a lot of us aren't privy to, and just know that your work travels, man. Like, I think right now I see 6 people, right? But I know that I'm gonna be talking to at least 40 people by the end of this week who are gonna ask me, yo, what you do this weekend? This is one of the things I'm gonna be talking about. So your work travels. Just know that it matters, and that most importantly, you're not just saving other people's lives, but you're saving your own. And I'm grateful to see the growth for both of you. So thank you for having me.
Thank you,
Oh,
thank
thank you
you.
for
We
joining.
take those blessings, we claim those blessings. But before we spin off of this joint right now, we do have a tradition here of just leaving one thing on the table throughout the course of the conversation that really spoke to your heart that we just want to reemphasize for the closeout. So with that being said, I'll go first with something that spoke to me throughout the course of the conversation. I just want to leave on the table, and that's just the idea of letting go not being a negative thing. You know, that spoke to me, and I want to reemphasize that in people, and just knowing that it's a process of life. You know what I mean? Uh, Understanding that everything has its chapter and everything has its season. Whether it's relationships, whether it's uh, whether it's lifestyles, whether it's success, even everything has its expiration date. And that doesn't go to make things sound morbid or anything. It's just, once again, like you said, you need this life after. And that's new life, so that's all it is. Letting go is just being able to embrace new life.
Strong. Um, I think because I definitely let Dash anchor this, but I think that one of the things that I want to just reiterate to everybody is um get comfortable, get comfortable um with letting go, um because what you're supposed to have within your possession, you can't carry if your arms are full with all the groceries in the car.
Mm,
Yeah, man.
mm,
So
mm.
it's very tough to carry a 40 pack of Poland Spring if you're still holding on to the bag. So, water for life, people. You know what I mean? Don't be afraid to let go.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
That's real.
I love. I know. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
Man. I guess I'm gonna just echo what the both of you have been saying, and just kind of embrace loss, guys. We make this notion as human beings that, like we really have full control of everything that we're doing. Like God doesn't dictate everything, our total moves and everything. So get comfortable with the loss, because like you might not be carrying everything you necessarily need with you in the future. You might be carrying too many bags, and God might have to force them away from you. We as humans, we get stubborn. We also have this idea that we know what's best for us, and we don't necessarily know every step along the journey. And God will show and put you in positions where it's just like, you know what? You may have thought this is what you want, or this is the route that you need to take, but I'm going to show you, my child, what's best for you. And this will be more beneficial for you in the long run. You might not appreciate every step along the way, but in the end, you'll be thankful that you went this route. And, sometimes in life, we are tasked with journeys that we might not walk if we knew what the path entails. So, leave room for the unknown too. So, and be
Mm-hmm.
comfortable with that, and enjoy it, enjoy the moments, the ups and the downs, because both of them had a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for
that's
real.
real. That's real. That's real. Okay, so look, shameless plug time. Before we even head out, I need to do our shameless plugs. Listen, y'all people get familiar with Dante Dash, aka Chef Dash,
Chef
aka
Dash.
Fly Him
Right.
Out,
Oh
AKA
Hey.
Fly
yeah.
Him Out. Y'all get familiar with the catering services that my brother provides. Y'all get familiar with the smoothie services that my brother provides. Y'all get familiar with the entire ensemble of culinary genius that is entailed within my brother's artistic work. Yes, I said artistic
Yep.
work. You know what I'm
No, it is
saying?
art. You know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Y'all also get familiar with Unir Gaines. The brother is a musical mastermind. I'm saying that as an MC and as an artist myself. I'm not going to hype nobody that ain't got it
No,
like
that's
that
real.
because I got it like that. You know what I'm saying? So
That's a
this
fact,
brother
though.
right here, this brother right here, y'all get familiar with his music. Y'all get familiar with his movement. Is Monday Gaines still a thing?
Monday Games is you know what I'll say it exclusively for y'all. Monday Games in 23 is transitioning from every Monday releasing a record to me being in front of the camera every single Monday and giving something for y'all to gain and to be inspired by. Big shout out to the more my cousin that's in here. I see you, Sheik. But yeah, Monday Games is gonna transfer into that, and yeah, the music is coming. This is gonna be a lot different than what y'all used to. So yeah,
Ooh,
it's gonna be a
let's
whole lot
go.
different. A whole
So
lot different.
y'all here exclusively here. Monday Games 2023. We're gonna have you near Games, not we, but he, as in we, are going to have himself show up on the camera in front of y'all to actually drop game, to be with y'all in presence, and as much presence as he's able to give. Like that's some fly shit, and also get familiar with the music to this day. I know I know he's got so much in the vault, and he got so much that he's done, and so much more that's coming. But to this day, shameless plug, emotional content. Y'all go stream emotional content. That EP is fire. That EP is fire. You heard me?
Blessings. Please do. I need all the streams. Big facts. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And as for me, man, no shameless plug except for the fact that y'all get tuned in with us. I know if y'all was here from the beginning of this program, y'all know that I said that I was going to have some information regarding us being able to put some people on the payroll, get a little bit of change from supporting PVM. But because we were already past our time limit, y'all tune in with us next week for information on how y'all can support PVM and get paid in the process. But until then, I go by the
Hey,
name of Jetty 8-Track.
this is Unique Game.
It's me. I'm Unique Games. That's Dash.
We thank y'all all in the comment section. Thank y'all for y'all presence. Thank y'all for y'all comments. Thank y'all for y'all energy. And holla at y'all next week. We out.
Yes, sir.